Hey, this is George,
Hey, this is Fred.
and this is Real Talk with George and Fraser. Hey, man, how's it going?
Good man. How's it good? Everything good with you?
I got a little cold, man, but I'm still here. So it's
Yeah, you like
definitely
you,
a
man.
little,
Cold ain't gonna stop you.
ain't gonna stop me, you know what I mean? We got a great show today, man. Got a great show today.
Exactly. It's been ready to show, man. Amazing woman. Amazing woman. Got an amazing voice too. Gotta put it out there. Gotta put it out there.
Okay, well, let's bring her on to the show.
Alrighty.
Hi, Latoya, how are you?
Hey,
Hello, how
Welcome
you
to Real Talk.
doing?
great. How are you all?
Doing
Good,
pretty
good,
good. Thank you.
good.
So tell the fans and the listeners about your bio.
About my bio.
Yes.
Well, I am a entrepreneur, singer, songwriter, actress, and producer and director. I switch hats a lot, but my first love is singing. I started out singing. 4 or 5 years old, singing. Stephanie Mills is one of my favorite artists, so I would always entertain people with her home, um, and that's how I got my start.
Nice. Nice.
Nice.
So you said artist, producer, director. I mean, you gave us a litany.
It's a lot of
But
that.
so yeah, so where do you want to start?
Um, well, this is your show, but I'll start with the performing. Of course, like I said, singing is my first love. Started out singing in church, of course, singing at home, and then from there, um, we had drama ministry, of course, at church. So we started doing plays at church, and then um, transitioned. I went to a performing arts magnet program in high school.
Hmm.
And then from there, even entering into college, my path didn't. I didn't study the arts in school, but I started doing a little bit more professionally, still singing, community choirs and things of that nature. And then it led me to audition for plays here in Atlanta, and um, started, of course, that journey transitioned into performing regional theater, and then also going having the opportunity to perform in New York from there. And even in the performing world, the production management or producing or directing kind of came simultaneously. Because as a performer, I would go in and, of course, audition and will be there just to do that side. But then the director would ask, "Hey, do you mind, corralling the actors together, or do you mind doing a spreadsheet, or getting their schedules?" And so that's how I started to learn behind the scenes or
Hmm.
production management from there. Um, and that's where we got my start. Yeah.
So,
Good.
what do you prefer? Do you prefer the singing or the production management, the producing? And do you take submissions from projects, or do you just solely work on your stuff?
No, so yes, I do take submissions. For your first question, it is a constant fight.
Hmm.
The performer in me wants to perform, but the um, it seems that more of the work, the behind the scenes work, actually comes. So I get more work in that area. But the performer is like, "Hey, I'm still here. Don't forget about me." Um, so I'm going to sing regardless, whether I'm on stage or not. I wake up singing. It's just a part of me. But I'm embracing it all. So I allow it to, when I need to wear the performer hat, I wear it. When I need to wear the production management hat, I wear it. Sometimes I do have to wear them at the same time, but I just wear them when they need to be worn.
Okay.
Okay. Well, see, I know you from acting.
I
And
know, I
yeah.
know it's been a minute.
Okay, so what do you find more enjoyable, like when you're on a stage? Because I know it's different when you say you like transition the hats from singing
Mhm.
to acting, but like when you're actually doing it, what do you find that passion more? Like when you're acting on stage and then got to transition over to start singing the next verse or the next scene, like the introduction
So the
how you.
benefit of being on stage is being able to inspire someone, being able to reach an audience, and from a live environment, you get that reaction immediately. The behind the scenes side, the benefit for that is you get to see other people walking out their dream, walking out their passion, living it. And then also, too, from a writer standpoint, you get to see their vision actually come to life. You
Hmm.
get to, you see it from a script form. You go from the script form to there's the casting calls, and then, having these actors or performers come in, and now they're taking someone else's vision and actually bringing it to life. So I personally feel like that's the best seat in the house,
Mhm.
because you get to see everything. You get to see, from lighting design to sound design to set, and then all of those pieces actually marry together to bring this entire thing to life.
And what's people don't understand how important regional Broadway is and shows and things of that nature. They just either think either you're on Broadway or you're off Broadway in these small shows. But you know, a lot of actors have come up on the regional circuit.
Mm-hmm.
What are some advice you give to new people that say, "Oh well, I only got to get this way, and I don't want to have to deal with the regional shows or sorry, regional circuit, or they used to call it the Chitlin circuit." You know what I mean?
Right.
Because it was just that's what it was. I mean, people don't understand that even Tyler Perry got his start, you
Mm-hmm.
know, doing all those things in that particular circuit. Was very successful with it. Um, how would you explain the benefit? I'm new, so how would you explain the benefit to her if I came to you and said, Latoya, I want to do this, but I have concerns about this, that, or the third?
Right. So the benefit of doing community work, or and of course into regional work, is you are constantly working, you're constantly building your chops, you're constantly perfecting your craft. You got to think on a larger scale, the Broadways and the nationals or international scales. You are competing in a sense with so many other people. So someone else, maybe not say they may not be as talented as you, but they have worked harder, so they may get that spot. It doesn't mean that you don't have the talent, but um, don't despise small beginnings. You need that. You need that constant work. You need to constantly audition, even if you don't get it, because you'll get in of the habit of auditioning, the habit of, okay, well, knowing what did I do here that I may need to do differently the next time. And you're just constantly learning. You're constantly learning. You're constantly feeding off of other people. Your co-performers that are on stage with you, and iron sharpening iron. You want to be your best that you can be before you step into the big ring.
Hmm.
So no, don't say. I would tell them, no, don't say I'm not going to do that, or I don't want to do that, because who knows you? We have
Exactly.
to, just like in corporate America, you have to have a resume. In entertainment, you have to have a resume. But if you don't have any experience, then how do you know that you will be able to get that job, or even once you get it, you'll be able to keep it or sustain it?
Right.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's true. Now, to piggyback on what you just said, like, what are some of like the successes when you tried it and some of your failures, and how did it affect you in perfecting your craft in singing and also in acting?
Well, starting out, especially with auditioning, I thought um, it was me, that they didn't like me, but it's not necessarily you. It's that when you go out for an audition, they have a certain person, or that they want to fit this role. So you may not fit what they are looking for.
Hmm.
That
Mhm.
doesn't mean that you're not talented. you know it's just that you don't fit what they're looking for at the time. And I had to learn that. Also, you gotta have tough skin in this
That's true.
industry. You have to have tough skin in this industry. Um, from the singing side, I think I've had microphones go out, so not depending on technology. I would
Yeah.
definitely tell somebody, don't depend on technology, because microphones don't always work.
Hmm.
So the show has to keep going. you know. So I would say that's, some of my successes, or I said downfalls, or what have you, when you starting out, or just learning that. And you you don't arrive. Like, I haven't arrived. There's always, even with the experience that I have had, there's always something that could go wrong, or may go wrong, or what have you, and it goes wrong. But I may not have read that line correctly. I wish I could have hit this note, but after the performance is over, it's over. But don't wallow in it, don't dwell in it. You go out there and put forth your best, and if you put forth your best, then accept that.
Well, that is true. So okay, now question. So what is that the you're the mini director, I'm sure of. Like, what was the worst director you ever worked with, and what was the best director you ever worked with?
The best directors that I've actually worked with were directors who were at once performers themselves, because they were in our shoes, so they directed from a actor's perspective. The worst directors I'd say I've worked with, or not just directors, I would just people that I've worked with, um, that they really were about the bottom line or the dollar, so they didn't really care about the performers. And so, I've then people have run off with money and the whole cast and stuff. Look, like,
What
well,
happened?
what happened? you know, we got an
Exactly.
audience full of people, and it's time to get your payment at the end of the show or during intermission, and it's like, oh,
Whoa.
okay, you know. So it happens. It comes with the territory. You have people that don't have integrity, and so, and I've seen people who've experienced that and they've left the industry because they've ran into people who did not have integrity. But the art keeps me going. I'm gonna, like I said, I'll do this if I'm getting paid or not getting paid. I'm gonna keep doing it. So that has helped me. It has picked me back up to keep doing it, to keep auditioning, and then of course learn from that, because even in that side, on the performer side, once I started producing or directing shows and things of that nature, then I was able to see what I should not do, right? I don't want to do that to someone who's coming up, who may be a newbie or even they're a veteran, but I don't, because your reputation precedes you. And this industry is very small, especially for us.
Exactly. That's true.
So let me ask you, how do you now navigate that? What kind of background checks do you do? Because Fraser and I are in real estate, so we
Hmm.
always do background checks, and we do
Hmm.
certain things to find out who we're working with, and what's happening. If this contractor, does he pay his employees? What kind of person is he? That kind of thing. How do
Hmm.
you now? Uh,
So some ways that I navigate is there are certain behaviors that'll be the same, that are recognizable or familiar behaviors. So when I see something, then it's like, oh, okay, that's an alert right there, and it normally happens, in the beginning. It happens fast, so you don't have to stay in there, and of course there have been times where I've actually gone a little further and I have excused myself from a project. I and I recommend to everybody, don't compromise yourself.
mhm.
There's going to be another opportunity. Don't compromise yourself. Don't A lot of times, we go in with, hey, I need this check, but is that check really worth the headache?
Right.
you know
Exactly.
um One of the other benefits that I have is, I have a little circle around me, so we tend to share, hey, I know about this audition, I know about this, or what have you. Or someone may have worked with them before and they say, hey, mm-mm, you don't want to work with that group of people. So, or just, I'm going to give this to you. I have not necessarily investigated it, but it looks like a good thing. But just keep your eyes and your ears open. So, having a good circle and we're kind of protecting each other is one of those good things, too. How I navigate that. But like I definitely don't have a problem excusing myself from a project if it's something that you know I feel like it's going to compromise who I am, compromise my beliefs, but also too, if the business is not right, I will excuse myself.
Yeah, that is true.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think people see a lot of that as a very important. Some people, like you say, will just take a job because it's a job, or
Right.
because it's Broadway, or just because of hype. and it builds a lot of hype when he builds a career. Who he work with, a person may be the worst person in the world to work with, but he has a lot of credibility in the industry. So people look at it. So I mean, like on that aspect, like who are your inspirations, inspires in singing and acting that help you with the integrity and help you keep you on track? With saying, look, hey, I'm not working with that guy because he got I'm with someone. He remind me of someone. The Denzel, you say, don't work with somebody who will decrease yourself, your self worth, or make you feel less value to anything you do. Don't work with them.
Right.
And so I mean, who are people you think that inspire you like that?
In music, there are several people. Like I mentioned, Stephanie Mills, but one of Gladys Knight. I remember she did an interview some years back, and they were talking. I asked her about her still being relevant, and one of the things, and I'm paraphrasing, one of the things she said about even her attire. Back during she wouldn't wear certain things because
Mm-hmm.
she respected her audience that much, and so you see her, she's very poised and put together, and you know what I'm saying, she's not, and whatever your thing is, that's your thing, you know what I'm saying, but she actually takes the time to think about, is this good for my audience? I'm giving to them, but they're really giving back to me, you know. From on the performer side, Angela Bassett, Denzel Washington. Denzel said a few years ago, he said, man gives the award, but God gives the reward.
That's right.
So who am
Exactly.
I really doing the work for? You know what I mean? Am I doing it for man, or if I'm really doing my work unto God? And so those are things that I, hold dear to me when I'm thinking about accepting a project, or not, or staying on a project or not.
All right. Now, have you had people come with a bag of money and say, "Hey, I want you to produce this thing for me, and let's go." And then all of a sudden, they come in and be like, "Oh, you're doing it wrong. This, that, and the third. You know,
Oh
I
man.
want my, I want my show back."
No, I have not had people come with a bag of money and then, take their project back, but I have had people come and want me to run with their dream, right? So, I tell some of my friends, I can't invest, $5 in your $10 dream and you won't even invest seven,
Hmm.
That's
right? So if you come to me and I'm going to help you bring your vision to life, but I've had people that I've been on projects that we've started and things, and I'm a worker. I'm going to work. I'm going to, put my effort, my excellence into it. But I've had projects where people have come and I've started on them, but then they were like, "Oh, I can sit back because you're gonna work it for me." But this
exactly.
is your dream. This is your vision,
Hmm.
you know. And so I've had to be like, no, I'm gonna give this back to you because this is your $10 dream. So why should I invest $5 in your dream and you won't even invest seven?
That's true.
That's
You
right.
know.
A lot of projects like that. Phew. I know
Hmm.
people like when I started out wasn't great, wasn't perfect, but
Right.
you my first matter of fact, you probably my first play I ever did. You was involved with it. When I have
Hmm.
a dream.
Yeah.
So I mean, inspire me, and several people who were doing it a while inspired me to want to be better at it, work at it more,
Hmm.
keep doing more at it. And I watched your work ethic, and I mean, I've seen your work ethic is amazing because I'm some people they tell you do this, you go back and get it right. I'm like, hold on, I'm gonna do the same thing, go and fix the words right. I pronunciated it wrong or something. Or you sometimes you have told me sometimes, hey, phrase, no, that performance, yeah, I wasn't quite there. You need to make it better. Okay, I'll get better. Jeez, you didn't make shit like that though. Okay, okay. But it's always better you said than the director said. Cause remember he was like,
Hmm.
"Hey, you, get
Right.
better."
And it's and that's in everything, not just in performing. It's just, how you say it to someone. You know what I'm saying? You can end up offending somebody saying it the wrong way,
Hmm.
and they won't even receive it, you
That's true.
know. Yeah.
That is true. I mean, that is true. I mean, because I mean, a lot of things, a lot of times, like people I worked before I
Hmm.
started doing it, they wasn't very communicative version, as in like
Hmm.
very nice with it. They were
Okay.
like, they use very foul language to get their point
Hmm.
across, and you be like, "Oh, I'm a grown man. You
Hmm.
calm down a little bit, buddy. Hey, I am big too. Tell the bitch out the voice a little bit, but
Hmm.
but sometimes you got like a place where sometimes you got to actually tell the director one time actually almost broke the integrity and look, hey, man, I'm about to. Yeah, I know you have one or two of those. You have a few of those
Hmm.
experience you want to tell about.
Um, let's see.
Why
Think
you put her on the spot, phrase?
hey,
Right.
oh,
You
I'm
know,
sorry. Oh,
it's okay.
hey,
It's fine.
two things I feel like
Um, right. Let me see, an experience. Um, I have had those experiences. Um, not from a director per se, but I've had the experience from being behind the scenes from another performer,
no,
Hmm.
right? What I learned in that moment was the performer really was, they felt a little bit, insecure. So it came out in, I'm going to talk to you in this way. I'm going to disrespect you. I'm going to disrespect your set. I'm going to do those things. And it's easier for you to bow out. It's easier for you
yeah,
to say, this is overwhelming. It's easier for you to say, this is too much for me. You know what? Can you give me something that's, you know, not as many lines, or I don't have as much responsibility, and then we can figure it out. But, being disrespectful, and listen, I kept my cool because there's a job that I had to do,
exactly,
you
exactly,
know. At the end of the day, I can't spend my time on the one when it's an entire ensemble that we all have to get to this finish line.
Hmm.
And so I'll let you work that out on your own. I'm here for you to come back and we can talk about it or figure out a way. But, um, being disrespectful and interrupting everything. And then guess what? In the end,
mhm,
we still had to give you a lesser part. We
exactly,
knew that it was too much. We were really just, why don't you say it?
exactly.
It's okay. It's really a safe environment, but your method and how you actually went about doing it was, yeah. So I tend to look at people, what they say, once you show me yourself,
Exactly.
I can't unsee that.
Right.
So, when I see some of these people, it's like, oh, and I've actually had some people where I worked on a project and they were cutting up, but you know what? They inboxed me and they said, hey, can you tell me, when the next audition is, or you can tell me, and the way you just cut up, and you want me to hire you, you want me to
Get a
recommend
favor.
you. No, because then you want me to recommend you,
Exactly.
and it's my word, I'm recommending you to another director or producer or what have you, for you to wreak havoc over there.
Hmm.
No, you've already shown me yourself, so I know how you're going to be. Now, if you did that in that moment, you showed me in that moment, but that's who you are. I don't know if you will change, but you've already shown that, so hey, we
It's
only
what
have one time to make a first impression.
that is true. That is so true, especially in theater. In theater, you
Well,
only have
just
one
in
chance.
general, just in life,
Yeah,
period. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a person for second chances, but when it comes definitely in entertainment, and you know, I take my work and my relationships seriously. I
Right.
hold them dear to my heart. And so if somebody calls me and they say they need this, whether you are a performer, whether you are a photographer, videographer, or whatever, and I recommend you, guess who they're going to call? They're going to call me. They will release you from the project,
yeah.
but they're going to be like, well, you recommended that person, you
That,
know.
that is so
Yeah.
true.
So being a woman in this industry is hard enough, but what are some of the challenges you faced being a black woman in this industry? Because a lot of times you just get looked over, or they want you to act quote unquote a certain ethnic way, or you know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
you get pigeonholed into a lot of different things that you don't have the ability to show your true self. You see what I mean? How do
Hmm.
you overcome that? Because your counterpart doesn't have to jump through as many hoops as you do to get to, what I mean, get to the same place.
Well, the blessing and how God has truly orchestrated my experience and career is, um, I haven't necessarily had to experience a lot of that. So, um, it's been a word of mouth, or it's been referral. So I've performed with a group of people, or I've done work with a group of people, and someone else needs the services or someone else needs a performer, and God has truly orchestrated my path that the phone rings, so in the future, I'm sure I may experience that, but the way God has truly orchestrated, it's really has been, hey, someone needs, a company manager, or someone needs a singer, or someone needs, or what have you. And that's how I've been able to navigate. And those people who we recommend one another,
Hmm.
or refer one another, they're not going to accept any and everything. So they're not going to recommend me, or I'm not going to recommend them. And something that I know that may, they doesn't have any integrity, that may compromise them, and their beliefs. So those things I haven't. One now I can say that one of the things I have experienced from a male female perspective on some sets is that there are some men that um, don't accept women in leadership,
Hmm.
right? So taking a directive from, and I've had the opportunity to work with some amazing women who are producers and directors and writers who are amazing, outstanding women. And it's, funny to me when I see a man on set and the writer, producer, director is a female, and yet he has this air about him that a female has their place. So I have seen, and of course, like I said, experienced that, but those people I don't work with anymore. And of course, they showed me themselves, so I know this is how you're going to act. But at the
Hmm.
same time, those same people were inboxing me for more
Right.
work. But you're disrespecting a woman who is, you know, she's not disrespecting you. She's not trying to emasculate you or anything. But this is what we need for this particular project. This is what we need for you to do on stage, or you to do, behind the scenes. And so, you're being really cavalier about it. And I can't recommend you for anything else. And so you have to say within yourself, as a man, can I accept direction from a woman? And that's probably one of the things that I've definitely have seen and experienced. But as far as, being a woman and um, those other experiences God has really orchestrated for, it's literally like walk me to the door or to the person, or I met the person next to the person. And um, this God has been amazing in that way.
How has COVID-19 slowed or progressed your work environment? Has it slowed it down completely? Have everybody become a little bit more creative and doing things online? How is it working for you now?
Initially, yes, it came to a halt. Um, I do live theater, I do outdoor concerts or just concerts, period. So, we couldn't do anything. But now, of course, we had to pivot and we're doing more virtual things. I work with a amazing jazz organization called Jazz Matters, and we are producing our virtual shows, which will be releasing very soon. And then on the uh, theater side, um, I've been seeing, I haven't experienced it, but I've been seeing a lot more of my counterparts doing virtual readings or even virtual plays. So I just had to pivot. And whether you like it or not, it's going to be here. It's going to stay. Even when we do open up and allow some people, it will be in a hybrid world of live and, of course, virtual as well. So it's forced me to pivot. It's also forced me to brush off those things that I said, oh, I need to do this, I'm going to do that, but I didn't do it, or I put it to the back burner. And it's like, no, you gotta dust it off. You got to use it now. You got to put on your hat. Um, from the backstage side, I can admit, initially it was like, oh, well, behind the scenes in the virtual world, it's going to be a little easier, but it's not the same.
Hmm.
It's actually a little bit more intense. So it's still work. So I still have to do it. I still got to do every single thing, have my checks and balances just like I was in a live environment. So yeah.
Oh, okay. So let me ask you a question. So, you know, piggyback over the music, like, how does that you being like the back end of the theater do it affect your music? I know you say you have working on an album, you working on music, and how did that affect? the music aspect, and do it force you to put your music on back end, or do you work on more now? Like George said, COVID-19, a lot of people start working on their stuff a lot more better now. They actually get more concentration. They actually get that extra time they need to perfect a lot of things they didn't do before. So have you taken advantage of COVID-19 as an aspect of the positive way, or it's still more like a negative way? Still like,
No, definitely positive. I'm doing more songwriting because before COVID, I was running all over the place, and saying I need to write more songs. I need to, work on this. I need to work on that. But it has definitely allowed me the time to sit down and focus. Songwriting, not only, of course, myself. I also have a group, singing group. Calligraphy is our singing group, and so getting us ready, working on our shows, preparing them, and of course songwriting with my girls, with them as well. So yeah, it's allowed me to sit down and truly focus, and then of course separate those things. Sometimes you can get so busy, and you think you're doing something that's
exactly.
really, putting you in that vein, but you're really just doing busy work. So
Mhm.
it's
Yeah,
gonna allow me to really focus on and like, oh, that's really what's busy work. You was just running all over the place and you was just being busy just to be busy. It ain't doing nothing. It's not
exactly.
helping you out. So yeah, that's what it's definitely allowed me to do.
Okay.
So go back on these group. So like you got new songs out. What songs you group already put out already? Any singles out? Like
So we don't have any music that's out yet. I did have a we do have a song that's been uh placed. So we're waiting on that. They're working through all that to be released, but we're working on putting out original stuff as well. So look forward to 21 and releasing some
oh
stuff,
man,
you know,
you
solo
released.
stuff and of course solo stuff with my group as well. Mhm.
So you focus more on the group or more solo like right
Hmm.
now? Are you working on writing more like for the group now, or more solo?
Right now, I'm working more with the group. Yeah, I have stuff that I've actually written, that's being, music produced or what have you. Um, Not sure yet if I'll be performing that or if I'm gonna let other people perform it. But just right now, I'm just building the catalog and, you know, for a release, whether it be for myself, from a group, or someone else, performing the material.
Okay.
Hmm.
So, with everything going online and streaming now, is it easier? Like you can get things out there faster if it's YouTube
Hmm.
or this, that, and the third. But is it easier? Do you find that it's easier? It just creates too much noise because everybody's doing it.
No, well, everybody was doing it when we were in a tangible society.
Hmm.
I think that it's easier to reach a broader audience, because internet is all over the world. So you're reaching people that you would not necessarily you wouldn't ordinarily reach, in a live environment. You would have to work a little bit harder, but I think it's easier to reach more people all over the world. So that way, you know, you can say, hey, I got fans in Europe. I have fans in Africa or what have you, not just in the states, not just domestically.
That's true. True. I mean, like, so me and Joy like do this all the time. So I feel bad. We put you on the spot. We like do this a lot to singers. I'm like,
Okay,
hey, so can you get a sample?
you want to get a sample? Does it
Yeah.
does it matter what the sample is? Is there anything in particular?
Nope.
No. Go ahead and wing
Flower.
it. You're
Hmm.
good. Go ahead and wing it.
Okay. Well, song is always near. Lord is always on my heart. So I'll just give you Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. There's just something about that name. He's my master, my savior. He's Jesus, like the fragrance after the rain. Kings and kingdoms shall all pass away, but there's something about, there is something so sweet. There is something Something about that name.
Amen.
Hey man.
Amen.
Hey. Well, tears. I'm my tears about you. You doing that
Holding it back,
all
Praise.
easy like that, you know?
Holding it back, Praise. I'm holding it back.
I'm trying.
That was beautiful.
Was it
Thank you
powerful,
so
man?
much. We appreciate that.
You think that bitch here saying old nigga spirituals? Mm. I ain't gonna say that. I ain't gonna say. She know what I'm talking about too. So everybody crying like you know. We took man trying to perform, and she sang that one song. You might know that song I'm talking about too. You might remember this song. She sung that one song. Oh man, they were doing something the funeral part of the play, and she was singing. We had real tears. We weren't faking. We had real tears coming out. They thought we were faking. No, we were real tears.
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
once you just put you in that place, and you just like just break down. It's amazing, man.
Well, I think it's also twofold too. For a lot of us, we forgot about those old spirituals that kept our ancestors
Mhm.
and us alive. So when we rehear that, it hits something in our spirit because you may be like,
Right.
oh wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Grandma or my great grandmother used to play that. It was like the same thing when my grandmother played Mahalia Jackson.
Hmm.
It was just like it just did something to my spirit that when the church when you start quaking and start
Exactly.
hitting it, you know what I mean? It's just that it
Right. Right.
pierces your soul because those are your roots, you know,
Hmm.
and that can't be taken away from us.
No, no. I mean, I can imagine. I'm gonna imagine some of the songs you write right now. I can imagine some of those songs you write right now.
But it's on the entire spectrum. So don't yeah. Don't put it in a box.
No, no, no. Not this. One thing we enjoy learning on the show is we don't put nothing in the box. Just open book. Yeah, you read on great lines all day long here. Like, hey, some I don't know the difference.
Hmm.
But
Awesome.
yeah, so we got to ask you. You don't know, like, what do you feel more inspired to sing though? Songs that inspire people more, songs that have more meaning to a different aspect of your life. Like, what do you prefer to sing?
Yeah, I definitely songs that inspire and uplift people. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be a Christian song.
Hmm.
You know,
True.
so that's my approach to songwriting. That it's meaningful. That it can. My experience. I try to my best to put my experience in it, but my experience is not just my experience. Someone else may be experiencing the same thing. But that is my ultimate goal is to definitely uplift, inspire, and heal.
Hmm.
Through music and the arts.
True. So doing that, do you like help youth or like help other people inspire by singing who may not have a good road going that way? They be like a little mentor, give it piggyback them into the industry and show them the ropes a little bit. Do you have any programs to do that or you give
So,
back?
before COVID, I actually a good friend of mine has a nonprofit youth organization, and I would help out a lot with his organization. Um, he would host workshops and summer camps and things for the kids. I would write um, plays for them, and we would workshop them and perform them at the summer camps and also his workshops. I haven't done as much, of course, since COVID or what have you, but definitely before COVID, I've worked with organizations that definitely inspire the youth using, again, Jazz Matters that I work with now. Um, our program director, she has a program that uses scripts to help with literacy. So she Out Loud Readers Theater, she has so we've definitely done a lot of that prior to COVID. Since COVID, we're still, trying to navigate that as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, as we wrap this up, what do you want to leave the fans with? And the
Yeah.
Well, be you. Don't be afraid to be you, and you don't need nobody's permission to be you.
nice.
That's
Thank
what I
you.
want to leave.
Can you let everybody know where they
Give
can?
yourself permission.
That's right. Can you let
Mhm.
everybody know where they can find you on social media?
Yes, you can find me on IG at songbird underscore Toye. You can see my Toye. That's on IG. On Facebook, it's Latoya Foreman, Forman. If you want to follow the group, We are Calligraphy Music on Calligraphy with a K.
Hmm.
Calligraphy Music on IG and on Facebook as well.
Oh, and one more thing, any your music be on like streaming? Any of you on Spotify or Apple Music that fans might want to know or want to listen to you guys?
Will be coming soon. We haven't released yet, but definitely will be looking out for that coming soon.
Okay,
All right.
you're come back and tell the release gonna come out.
Definitely.
Well, we
I'll
definitely.
make sure you guys have an exclusive.
Oh,
There you go. You that
greatly.
George? Exclusive George, you love those. You love those.
We do.
You like being a
Well,
person.
we definitely thank you for coming on Real Talk and having a conversation with us.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Good seeing you
Yes.
again.
You too. You too.
All right.
Wow, amazing, right? Amazing.
Amazing.
George, amazing, right?
That voice, man. I felt
Hey,
quickened when she was singing. I was like, Jesus. You know what I'm saying, man? Please.
I mean, man, George, you ever heard? You got to hear her singing that spirit. It moves you. It puts if you're not in the mood, George, it puts you in the mood. I'm telling you, you
Oh,
get
yeah.
the mood crying, George. People like, man, y'all amazing. Nah, we actually crying, man. That song that made you think about all the things that happened to you back in the day and start bringing stuff up that you didn't think you had hiding. And like we're gonna bring out and start crying. Just people the boo crying. I'm like, well, her voice is amazing, George. I mean, it's crazy. And then she's so talented in so many areas,
Mhm.
like acting and when she was directing, helping me out sometimes with lines and stuff. I mean, she made it way more experience pleasurable. Okay, a lot of people helped me also, but it was amazing how we was all like a family. We did the theater and everything. We did I think 2 other plays like that. I mean, it was amazing, man. She got me feeling love for theater in a different way.
Right.
So it was amazing, man. I'm telling you,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just you did.
I can see that. I can see the talent, man. It's just there. And you know what I like about the regional circuit is that it's not as big as uh, some of the big performing platforms where you can get lost.
Exactly.
Sometimes it's just small enough for us to be there and enjoy what we're seeing. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? In all aspects of it, good, bad, ugly. Sometimes they make mistakes, but you get to see it for what it is. You
Exactly.
know what I mean? You don't. It's not like Carnegie Hall where you're coming here and everything is professionally this, that, and the third, and you don't want to touch anything because you're sitting with them.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. But sometimes you like to see the realism of the play. Sometimes you want to see. Sometimes it may be a mistake to you, but your audience is like, "Wow, the guy was amazing." I mean, you be like, "No, I messed up. I missed like 2 lines. I missed 3 lines." Because you know what you're supposed to say. I learned the crowd doesn't know.
Yeah.
So if you don't like show you messed up, they'll never know you messed up. So I mean, I've personally said some lines that probably wasn't even in the script sometimes, but it fit in the part of whatever character I was in at that time. You
Hmm.
know, and I would say that's the thing. Regional theater has that ability to bring you closer to the actors, make you feel more of the theater. Like
Hmm.
the big time stuff, you know what to expect there. You kind of know what to see. So it kind of takes away from the joy of the actual performances sometimes because you know it can be perfect. Because
Right.
yeah, but sometimes you want to see the imperfection sometimes. Can make it seem like human, make the play seem not so scripted.
Hmm.
You know?
Absolutely. Well, let's shift gears. We had this fight this weekend,
Oh,
and
it's
it's
good to be real.
yeah. Well, it was everything that I expected it was going to be. You know,
Yeah,
I didn't think they fought to a draw. I think Mike Tyson was a little bit more aggressive.
yeah,
I think when Roy got touched a little bit, he got on his bike. But I understand that they couldn't just say, "Oh well, Tyson won," or this, that, and the third. But I mean, think about it. After the first round, really, Roy was huffing and puffing, breathing heavy.
exactly. He
You know,
was. But you know what I think is too? I gotta tell people right here. It goes back to body shots. See, the body shot Tyson and the man were giving him, it makes it up outside may not be as aggressive, but he's getting hit by those things. He got a lot of clean body shots on Roy. A lot of clean body shots. And then on top, when he did come up, Roy moved how to move out. See, that's why I say when you got two fighters that not similar style, but do believe defense wins fights,
hmm.
harder to hit. Like Tyson could really hit him like he really wanted to hit him because he moved around, he bothered the weed a little bit. But at the same time, he was hugging like a Care Bear. I mean, every time you know he got hit, he hugged like a Care Bear. You want to hug him? Hey, okay, it hurt a little bit. It hurt a little bit. Like saying, like, hey, boy, you hurt me now. We're supposed to be exhibition. It's a fake, right? I mean, you know what they were saying, but to me, if you was an exhibition fight, it wasn't a real fight. You could tell that there's some touches going on there. Well, a lot of hugging. So I mean,
Oh yeah, I mean, it was like Mike Tyson said. I watched his interview after, and he was like, I wanted to go the
yeah,
8 minutes. I didn't want to go and knock somebody out. I wanted to box.
exactly.
And for him to have that mentality and wherewithal to say this is what I wanted to do. I mean, the thing that I took away from that fight and then his press conference, he said, I didn't know anything when I was young.
Yeah,
He said, I didn't know anything when I was young. And it was just like he's always had a way of minimizing his accomplishments due to youth,
yeah,
inexperience, whatever it is. And that just tells you that one, he's a lot wiser when it comes to the level of intellect that you have when you're
yeah,
boxing. You see what I mean? And
exactly,
he said it. I wish I didn't take my youth for granted. You know, but
exactly. That is true. That is so true. He matured so much because I went after the fight. The guy would ask him, "So, Mike, how do you feel about actually being in the ring again? How like trying to provoke him to say that he wanted to come back?" He said, "No, I'm here because I enjoy boxing now. I just wanted to box. I'm not trying to come back. I'm not trying to make this is for charity. This is for people to see us who want to fight, see us fight. I'm doing it for charity, but I also want to go the 8 rounds. I want to fight the 8 whole concession round. Give people a show. Like you said, I'm here for a show. I'm here to give people a show right now. I'm not boxing to impress them or to make them see me be aggressive. No, I'm here to box. I'm here to
right.
show my craft. I'm showing that I have progressed over years. Like he said to Roy, like, you've been out 3 years. I've been out 15 years.
Hmm.
You know? And he said, why do I worry about me? Because I don't know about you, but you look way better shape than Paul Roy there. So we won't talk about Roy. Hey, Roy, you all right, man? Because he moved kind of quick over there. You moved kind of slow. So, I mean, to me, the way he handled himself was not the same Mike Tyson we used to know back in the day where he'd be like aggressive and going to interviews like, hey, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. He was like more humbled. He was more at peace. And I like that Tyson better. That Tyson's more dangerous to me.
Oh
Way
yeah,
more dangerous.
yeah. He doesn't have anything to prove. And it's like almost he's punching these people with love. But it's just like Roy said. I don't care what anybody says. He was touching me and it hurt. He said
Yeah,
he walks around at 220, but he's a lot more muscular and dense than that. And Roy said
exactly.
it. He said, I learned how to tie him up from watching him when he fought Lennox Lewis I forgot the other fighter he named, but he said you have to wrap his arm up so he
Yeah,
doesn't hit you with that body shot and uppercut.
exactly. And
Mhm.
you know he did too. A couple of times, the first 2 times Roy tried to actually hug him, he went wah 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 wah. The boy went, oh whoa 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 whoa. Then now grab the arms. He
Yeah.
actually grabbed the arms, and people were like, oh, yeah. I had to think when he hugged him. I said, no, I thought about it. You know what? Those probably touch shots. He actually hurt it. And he's probably trying to get a little breath in there so he can come back and do something else. But then toward the end of the fight, I think Roy kind of figure out a little movement and figure how to handle a little bit. Because later on in the fight, you could tell Roy starting to get a little more confident. Like, okay, I can take this shot. But not
No,
that.
he wasn't. He wasn't. He wasn't. Okay,
He got tired. Remember,
nah,
he
I didn't see
had to make
that.
a show. He had to make a show. Remember, Roy had to make a show. Okay, we all know, like, Roy gonna take a hit. You know, Roy gonna take a pound. You knew that. So if you pretty much that fight, Tyson knows if you can last past Tyson past the first 2 rounds, you already got to respect. And Tyson said that you took my blows. I respect you for that. And with
Yeah,
Tyson,
but you notice how okay, let me put it like this. You notice that there was not that many headshots because
it's that.
normally Tyson would go to the body, then he would start throwing hooks to the head. Everything that they were throwing to the body, I think he threw one uppercut, but they didn't throw any hooks to the head at all. So they really weren't trying to knock each other out.
No, no. They
Mike
were
was trying to knock him out. You
this.
know,
They respect. I do respect on both sides. Like what? Like Tyson said, he caught an uppercut. He caught me a hook. He said, "Oh, I felt that." But then
right?
when Tyson started changing his style a little bit more, like, "Whoa, okay, he got a little." Cause I think with Tyson, even though Tyson knew he was a fighter, but like they both didn't know the power that each other had. They didn't know because they
Right.
was each other. So like Ward said, hey, he may got power. Even Tyson said he got power versus some fight he fought. He actually, out of all fighters, I would see Roy probably the first one actually made Tyson do this. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Did you hit me? You know, like
Mhm.
woke him up. Like, hey, okay, hold on, okay. But other fighters, they were going for a headshot. Tyson know how to handle them. He know how to handle you being aggressive. So that's one thing Wood had against him. He wasn't aggressive, and most fighters would have been. And Tyson can take. So Tyson had to go back to a different style. He had to change his style a little bit in the middle of the fight. We noticed that. So that's a good thing about that aspect. He learned to adjust in the middle of a fight. To me, that is proven that he is matured as a fighter.
No doubt about it. What do you think about the co-main event?
Oh, which one? Nate Robinson?
Yeah.
No, we used See, I said I respect Nate a lot. So I won't do like people do most Nate do on fight, do a down go Nate with a true but still. It better down goes Frazier. Oh, the Zato! It better that one. So he kind of took that title away from me. So I appreciate him for that. Thank you, Nate. But other than that though, I think he could have prepared a little more better. I think he really could prepare a little more better for that fight. I think he came in a fight misjudging the fight and probably misjudging his opponent.
Well, look, 90 days is not enough time for you to learn anything in boxing.
Nah,
And the fact that you thought that you could go get a 90-day membership someplace and think that you can box, is embarrassing to anybody who's actually boxed, kickboxed, or anybody else who understands the sport of combat sports, striking. You know,
exactly.
it takes time. I mean, look, even Jake Paul, he I see that stuff in slow motion. So
Yeah.
all the stuff that Jake Paul was throwing, he was throwing it as sets. He was setting to see where Nate was.
Mhm.
After he clipped Nate in that first round and Nate went down, it was like Nate wanted to quit. He didn't want to be there anymore.
Yeah.
You know. And then he was like, "Well, I can't quit because the trash talking was too thick."
Exactly.
And then he got clipped again. He went down. You know what I mean? And it was just like his ego wouldn't let him stop, and that's why he got knocked out. Because that last shot that he got hit with, it
That
was
was
right after a knockdown. Okay,
yeah.
and he was not there. His legs were not under him, and he didn't even see that last punch coming. That's why he was coming at him with almost his head, because
Exactly.
if you notice during that fight, he would punch and try to grab, punch and try.
Grab. Yeah. But see, that's a quote telling a person if you get in trouble, grab. But like Tyson, certain fighters know you're gonna do that and know to uppercut you, know to do the body shots now or go low the body shots. So now if you do go there, the same body shots now become headshots.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? So you ducking now going into you're going into a headshot. You literally going down to a person to get your headshot. Because basically they train to hit the body first. And if you start going head first, like a missile, and you're going to punch that's coming at you full force,
Mhm.
that's not a good combination. Because you
It's a
literally knock
combination.
yourself out.
It's
You
not a
literally,
good combination at all. I just feel bad that the fact that it ended like that for him. But I'll put to you like two ways. Now we're going to decide. Now Nate's going to decide if he really wants to box or if he's going to try and do something else. You see what I mean?
exactly.
Because
Or, like we said, or reevaluate itself and come back and look. I need way more training for this. I can't be going out in the 3 months and pray to God I'm gonna go out and be a performer. I mean, even most people get kicked in a street fighting technique. He ain't have street fighting techniques. He ain't good. I mean, everybody say, oh, he grew up in a certain area, but I mean, he didn't show that in the ring. I mean, he didn't show that he was from any type of hood I know of, less the suburbs. And people in the suburbs fight better than that. I mean,
well, you
instinct,
know,
little instincts. I mean, survival skills. Where does survival skill kick in at?
oh no, he had other skills. That's why he was punching and
Yeah,
grabbing.
punch and grab and take hits ain't the same thing. I'm sorry, punch and grab and take hits is not the same thing. I'm not gonna grab and take a couple. Oh yeah, take hit then grab. No, hit for contact then grab. You can't grab a person you never hit him. I mean, think about it. They hit him. I give Nate maybe 4 good shots. He stunned Paul a little bit. He stunned Paul a little bit towards the beginning. But once Paul figured him out, that was a wrap.
Yeah, of
That was a
course
wrap.
it was. You know, and you got a kid who's young, 23 years old, been boxing at least for a year, taking it seriously, and you got a guy that just thought that I don't know who hyped him up, but just thought that he could go ahead and just whoop up on this little young boy, and
Exactly.
he found out the hard way that he couldn't.
Exactly. I mean, I look at two things too. He's young. Don't get me wrong. But even though he's young, he has more experience than you. Which is usually the opposite. Usually the older guy has more experience than the younger guy. This is probably one of the rare instances where the younger guy has more experience than the older guy.
Yeah,
You know?
and that's I think where Jake Paul gets a lot of them because they're like this little young kid. He don't have anything. I got this. I got that, and then they don't
Exactly.
understand that you get into this and it's real. You know.
Exactly. But like I say with old Dave, if you on trash talk, you gotta back it up.
Yeah.
You gotta back it up. Like we play football, we trash talk all through the game, but you gotta back it up.
Right.
If I'm saying I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. If I say, oh, I'm gonna get an interception, I'm gonna pick it, I'm gonna knock you out in the game, I'm gonna do it. Because I said I gotta do it, I have to do it. But now, it is like you say, just say the reaction of it is, what happens if I hit the person back? He gonna hit me back. If I hit him, he gonna tackle me back eventually. So, like they say, he talked trash. He thought he was gonna do walk in the ring and hit the guy, and the guy gonna fold up and cry. No, he gonna hit you back.
Right.
Like I said, I'm going to plan B. Hit him back.
Oh,
that was too funny. That plan B was funny. So the plan B was, when I have him hit me, hit him back.
oh yeah.
I love that part of Mike, man. That part had me rolling. I now do plan B all the time. What's the plan B? Oh, hit him back. Oh, that was too funny, man. I mean, I love the interview with Mike. Mike, I think the interview was more entertaining when Mike would do an interview. Then Nate, he can make an interview, but you had a Jake Paul interview. It sounded cocky to me. It sounded like you. He thought he's not got a professional with it. I'm like, look, bro, he's not a professional. So I mean, he said he's a great athlete. No, he's a great athlete in basketball. Yes, he is. I can't take that from him. He had good skill. Well, I didn't see much of that in the ring.
No, all that stuff was complimentary. After the fact.
After the fact, you knock him out. I mean, I can say,
He knew that. And he tried to minimize it because look, the guy was on the ground for almost 2 minutes before he budged. I think
yeah, that is true. Yeah,
smell
that is true.
to bring him back.
He got a movie knockout. The movie knockout with Rocky, what you call him, the Western guy, guy fall down and then get up. It's one of those hits stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean, we all saw it. You know what I mean? That's
the worst thing about it. You saw how many times we saw it?
The whole world saw it. Put it like that.
Exactly. He got ESPN all day, every day on that one. They would run in a loop. Every 5 minutes. Hey, you should knock out. I mean, you ever seen the funny one where they did it with Martin for a horn, and then he was set out to talking trash. Oh, got a ring. Boom!
It was funny. Well, fans, that's our show. We want to thank Toya Foreman for coming on, and we got a great guest, celebrity personality. What's her name?
Yeah.
Brick Oxford.
Yeah, I know that.
Brick Oxford. She'll be with us this Thursday. So check that episode out as well too.
Well, definitely gonna be a great episode. It's gonna be a wonderful celebrity chef. You tell all the nice people she worked with. Oh, it could be amazing.
So check us out this Thursday at 8 p.m.
This is Phrase.
This is Real Talk, George and Fraser.